It's J Moore, the very best reviews. Tell them none can contest me.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I appreciate everyone for joining me tonight. Today, I got a very special guest, the very talented actor, Shane Johnson. Shane, welcome to the show.
Hey, man, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I'm happy you took time out to join me over here.
Of course.
Yeah, I got a huge following that loves power and are all familiar with you as Cooper Saxe. So they were really excited for you to come. And, we're going to get into a little bit of the power. But first, we want to, get to know you a little bit and your journey into, getting to this point. Okay.
Sounds great.
All right. So, kicking it off first, you come from a small town, right? Ephrata, Washington? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, at the time, it's maybe a little different now, but my whole family's still there, actually. But about 5,000 people, 3 stoplights. It was
wow.
I love it there. It's where I grew up. That whole area, we popped around a bunch of little farm towns, but always right there in the center of Washington. I was born in Spokane, and then moved to the middle of the state, and then went to Walla Walla, where I went to college in Walla Walla. We had a place called Whitman College, which is actually the same place that Leela, who played Angela.
Oh, really?
Went to college, yeah.
Wow.
And then that was it, And then after that, I bounced to London, and then I bounced to L.A., and now I'm in New York and L.A.
That's cool, man. Well, how did you come from a town of 5,000 people to getting to London, L.A., New York? Like a lot of people that I talk to and things, they say, well, I'm, from this small town. I can't make it, or I can't do this, or, they don't think they can possibly get out and do bigger things. How did you overcome that type of, mindset a lot of small town people may have?
Well, I think it starts with, you have to have you have to be after something. And I think if you really have something that you are all about and passionate about, and honestly a little bit of ignorance about the challenges, if you just kind of doe-eyed and like, hey, I can do anything, that youthful invincibility can bring us a long way. But I think it's so important that we surround ourselves, especially when we're in the beginning of our journey, with people that are like-minded, with people that believe in you, with people that are like, hey man, get it. Oh, you're the best. Do it. Nothing can stop you. We need that.
That's true, man.
We have a bunch of practical, pragmatic people around us as artists.
Right.
If you're a painter or a singer or a rapper or a writer or anything, people are going to be like, okay, buddy, that's cool. But what are you going to do? How are you going to pay your bills?
Right. That's true.
You got to shut that noise out and just go for broke. Because here's what I can tell you, and I mean this. I think if you have the talent, even just a modicum of talent, and you stick to it,
right?
Don't let anything derail you, and you train, and you network, and you're persistent, you will win.
Right.
There's enough work for all of us. There's pre-pandemic, I don't know about now, but pre-pandemic, there were with all the streaming shows and all the, there's so many, from Hulu to Amazon, Netflix to HBO. Now there's Apple. Now there's so many things out there. And then there's all the network stuff.
Right. Plus the doors opened up better actually with the pandemic, because now you can audition from home now, right? So you could do more auditions that way. That's how I booked a lot of jobs, from home, instead of having to travel to auditions and do all of that stuff. So
that's pretty much what everybody's doing now.
Yeah.
Pretty much across the board. But there's over 500 shows or something like that in production.
Right.
So
right.
With that many, that much product out there, there's work for all of us.
Definitely.
And I think that's another thing, is if we're comparing ourselves to other people, you lose.
Right.
You lose. You just have to. Everybody has to run their own race, keep their head down, do the work, do the grind.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have quote unquote friends who kind of like, tell you you're like I have 2 kids. I have 2 sons. One's 14, one's 12. And their friends grew up in this keyboard warrior sort of age where they just say things to each other that I'm like, man, how do you? That's not your friend. Like, what kind of a friend tells you you're trash?
Right.
Oh man, you're trash. You suck. You're terrible at this. You're dumb. You're ugly. You can't pull chicks. All these stupid stuff these kids say to each other. I'm like, this is your friend?
Right.
Like my best friend. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I mean, my son's 17, and I can hear him sometimes in there playing 2K or some games, and some of the things he say, I just be listening, and I'm thinking, wow, what are they doing in there? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's just a matter of like, how do you manage that?
Yeah.
Because we have to protect ourselves, man. Because you can have. And this is a weird thing about being, you know this, you can have 100 people tell you that you are the shit and that you got this. And then you have that one person that goes, I don't know, man. And that's what you listen to. That's the thing that sort of sticks in your head. And so the reality is we shouldn't listen to any of it.
Right,
It's all just noise.
Right.
And anyway, I'm just talking about like, so for me, I was ignorant. I didn't know any better. My parents believed in me. My parents were like, hey, go do whatever. They didn't know.
Right.
My dad's like tripping, My mom was a bunch of different jobs throughout. They're both hardworking parents in like a little farm town. And and they were just like, okay, Shane wants to be an actor. Like, go for it. Right.
That's what's up, man. That's great. I'm from Chicago. So I had like a lot of the opposite people always crapping on you and saying things all the time. So it kind of made it that, I became more quick-witted and used it into my advantage with comedic. Or you say something about me, now I got something to say back. And then it, became like fuel. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, well, I'm gonna show you. And then after being injured in the car accident, I was really at the lowest point, and then I decided after a few years, I'm going to try YouTube, and exactly what you said about how people can be supportive and say this and say that. And it helped build my confidence back and say, you know what, I'm going to go back and try back into acting. I'm going to go back into comedy and do this and that. And, it kind of re-inspired me some. So, anybody out there watching, what Shane said is really true. If you got people there that support you and believe in you, definitely, keep them around and, don't listen to the other people or use it as fuel. Oh, I can't do this. I'm going to show you.
Well, and look at you. Like you said, you've gone through the trials and tribulations that you've gone through. And here you are, you just were in the premiere of literally the biggest premiere ever in the history of Starz, and with Force, which is, there's another episode tonight. I just feel like there's enough out there for all of us. And people have that sort of scarcity thinking where, oh, like that's not for me. I can't have, like, I can't reach for the stars, And a lot of times it comes from a place of, and this is what's hard too, is a lot of times that shit would come from a place of love.
Right. Yeah. Just like Desiree is saying, Shane, thank you. I've had family tell me that she couldn't. That's happened to me.
Because they're trying to protect you. They're just they want you to be reasonable, and they want you to be like, but guess what? Why be reasonable?
Right.
We get one shot at this.
Right. Sometimes people are actually projecting their fears onto you as well, or what they believe. Like, it's been times where even my parents, when I was trying to, in the business world, they say, well, maybe that won't work. Just get a regular job. but that's what worked for them, and that's what was best for them, you know, and that was protecting them. I wanted to do something different. Sometimes people want to go on a different path. They weren't trying to be negative, you know, but, you know.
Yeah, and it's also different times, you know, like our parents' generation, it was, they lived through some different things, and things were maybe a little bit more practical. I'm not trying to make an excuse for that kind of
right.
That kind of support, but they don't know better. And
right.
But if they really love you, which they do, obviously, it's, you know, your family just needs to be trained.
Right. Yeah, because now they there to support everything now and things, and they see, you know, the determination and things, you know. But you know, it's just a different times, different generation, and like how we are talking about our kids playing the games and doing this and saying all this stuff, typing and stuff. You know, they didn't even see they don't even know they friend, don't even know what they look like half the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is, you know, I feel like my goal as a father. And as a teacher, you know, I teach acting too.
Okay.
My goal as a mentor of any kind, whether to my kids or somebody else, is to people need to be passionate about something, you know. And for my kids, that's what I'm kind of like, want to make sure that they're passionate about something. It doesn't have to be what I'm interested in, but I'm just going to be passionate about something, and I will support you. And I will believe in you, and I will help lift you up and give you and that's the kind of friends I want around me, you know. Right. And I told my son this literally yesterday. I was like, look, because he was having some issues with a few friends. I was like, look, you don't need any, but it's nice if you've got one great friend, maybe two, maybe a handful of like good people that you can count on that have your back. Right. That's it. You don't need to have 100. You don't need to be the most popular person around. You don't need to, and don't listen to all that noise. You just surround yourself with the people that believe in you and bolster you and lift you up. I mean, and I love it when you see, because you see this a lot with artists. You see people bring up the people around them.
Right,
you know?
right, yeah.
You see those groups of people like 50. You know, when he came up. I read his book, and he just cut people out.
Yeah.
When this started,
yeah,
he'd cut them out. He'd be like, "You got to go."
Yeah.
But
they'll bring you down, man. In a lot of ways, yeah. And people in today's society don't value a good friend as much as they should, you know, because that's so rare. It's rarer than sometimes a little extra money or a small little disagreement. Like a good friend will be there for you. And so, you know, that's something that's valuable. And I think with the society of cancel culture and everybody can just ghost you or just stop answering your texts or call, I think they don't understand the value, and that's messed up. If you do got somebody there, you definitely should keep them around. Like you say, I only got like one or two good friends myself, so you know it happens, and they kind of did it on to me when I got injured. You know, I had a bunch of people that would come around and hang around, not like I was the most popular, but I mean about maybe 10 people or so, and just like that, nobody was coming. Nobody wanted to hang out with me. Nobody wanted to do anything, you know, except for like one person, 2 people. And so, you know, that let you know, that let me know right then and there. And then, of course, you know, as things go on, people see things, they want to come back and say this or that. But, you know, now, you know, you've already shown me who you are, you know.
Yeah. So I think when it comes down to, I mean, this is a sort of elaborate. We've kind of gone into a whole conversation about it, but I think it's really important though, because it's the foundation of an artist getting a start. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Because it's hard. It's hard, like, to turn to somebody and go, you know, I want to be a rapper. I want to be an actor. I think I could be a painter or an animator or anything that's like, or a doctor even, like anything that's kind of like outside the bounds of their little family and their small thinking group that they're a part of.
Right.
And people go, what are you talking about?
Right. That's true.
I want to be an engineer and I want to build buildings and stuff. People go, okay, whatever.
Right.
You know, so it's, anyway, I think that for me, not knowing any better, surrounding myself with great people, and Man, I literally cut out my best friends over the years. There have been a couple of them that I was like, oh, this is my guy. And every time I would like hang out with them,
yeah,
I would like walk away and I kind of go, why do I kind of feel like shit right now?
Yeah, feel like they're using you, hanging on or whatever, you know. And if you need that same support, they not as always there for you as that, you know. Or if they got something going on, they don't hit you up. But then when you there, you know, you always call, like, why you don't never hit me up when you got stuff going on, but you always around when I got something. Like, wait a minute, you know, this ain't working.
Yeah. And I think that the other side, man, and I think this is one of the hardest lessons for an artist to learn is it's a business.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And a lot of artistic people like to create, and then they kind of just drop it and they create something else, and they that didn't go anywhere, and they're just creating, but we deserve to be paid for what we're doing.
It's hard work, man.
We're really the baseline of the culture, artists. You know what I mean? We're establishing, and a lot of times we're even creating technology that doesn't exist. You know what I mean?
Right. It inspires.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we're the dreamers of the future and stuff like that, and we're really important.
Right.
And but we have to be business people.
Right.
Definitely. You know what I mean? You got to be able to, and so I think that's where a lot of artists fall down, is they don't figure out the business because it's distasteful to us.
Right.
We don't like it. It feels gross to like make a phone call or ask a friend for a favor, or try and get a hookup, or schmooze, or like write letters or send out, you know, headshots or whatever your thing is. But it is a business,
right? And the marketing and all that stuff goes with it. Yeah.
I'm dealing with it now because, like, you know, Instagram, and I'm learning to like Instagram, but early on I was like, what the hell?
Right.
This is some BS. But in our business,
you got to do it. You got to market yourself. You got to get out there. Instagram is hard for me as well. I mean, I do the YouTube and things, and then to have to do the Facebook, Instagram, and all this stuff, it's difficult for me. I got to try to keep reminding myself to post more often on Instagram and stuff as well. But like what you said, a couple things I'm going to touch on right quick. You were saying, like, with you tell your kids or whatever about, you know, go for it or whatever. Like I tell my son, every single thing you see was somebody's thought first. This computer, to be able to live stream, HD TV, it was somebody's idea first. And somebody probably said that's too difficult, or that's too expensive, or you can't do that, or this or that. And now we have it, the new car, the new Mercedes, anything. Somebody had to think it first. So what you're thinking, like you say, architecture or any of that other stuff, you got to think it first, and then it can become. So like I try to tell him, he wants to do that, and he's getting ready to graduate high school. I can't believe it, you know. So he's going on the stuff
right there for him. I mean, you look at, I'm so inspired by people like an Elon Musk or something.
Wow, right, exactly.
Where he's just like, I'm sure that everyone's going like, this dude's nuts. What are you doing? But he's actually he worked with NASA, right, to create a system where if an asteroid's going to hit Earth, they can shoot a rocket up and like derail the asteroid.
Yeah,
like this is shit. From
right. He got Bruce Willis working on that, right?
we got Liv Tyler and Ben Affleck, and
right. Definitely.
You know, he's. But what he's doing is he's going, hey, this is a real potential threat.
Right.
He's looking at how our planet is headed. He's going, hey, we got to maybe think about populating, settling into another planet.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right, definitely. And then to be able to think about it and do it, like I tell my son, you make the money and you have the vision. You can hire the geniuses to work on these things you want to do. You know, like he's putting together the boring machine where they'll be in the pressurized tube underground and be able to track. Like, how are you thinking and do? It's just amazing. So I definitely feel the same with you. And another thing, switching up a little bit, we were talking. You mentioned animation. A lot of people don't know you're actually getting into animation, and you worked on one of the best damn games ever, Fallout New Vegas. Tell us a little bit about that. I love that game, and how they had at the end with the guy living in the chamber and extended his life or whatever. I mean, tell us a little bit about that and your foray into animation.
Well, I got those are two separate things. Like one of them's like voiceover work, which I've done a lot of over the years. And
I saw Final Fantasy as well, right?
What's that?
Like Final Fantasy also, right?
Yeah, like I've done. I mean, those are a lot of the things that I have gotten credit for, but I also, do dubbing for things for Netflix for fun sometimes.
Okay.
And I've done probably, I don't know, maybe like 10 video games, and then I was like the voice of Harley Davidson for a while for like TV commercials.
Oh wow!
Just things like that have been fun over the years, but. I never even played Fallout New Vegas. I mean, I've seen stuff from it, but that was just a fun gig. All those things have been a lot of fun, but when it comes to the animation, I had an idea for an animated series that I just really fell in love with, and I was kind of I don't want to say I was broke, but I was kind of like I wasn't like real flush at the time,
right?
And I had this great idea, and they were like, "Well, listen, what you should do is you should put you should do an episode or at least a teaser, and then take that around to help develop the project." And I was like, "Well, okay, so that's a great idea." And so I looked into getting it animated. All the things that I could find were, American Dad, Family Guy, The Simpsons, all those things. They're all like animated in South Korea.
Okay, right.
And for me to get, at least at the time, you get something animated like 20 minutes of material or something like that, which is going to cost, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
And I was like, well, that's not an option. So,
right. Wow.
So
I didn't know it was that expensive. So, yeah.
Oh, it's crazy.
Wow.
And so I was like, there's got to be a way to do this. And so I started just, doing research and looking into animation and found some really cool animation programs where you can basically create, you draw something, design a character from different angles, and then basically rig them with bones so that you can position them and do the keyframes and stuff like that. And so you don't necessarily have to be like an incredible artist.
Okay.
You just have to be able to, and it'll blow your mind. Like I'll send you a link to the teaser I ended up making. It looks great, and it was just me tinkering and sort of trial and error for like 6 months, teaching myself how to crash course, going on YouTube and going, how do I do this? How do I do that? So like little 5-year-old kids teaching me how to do stuff. You know what I mean?
You can learn so much on YouTube. I started doing this by looking at YouTube videos and self-teaching myself. So, you can learn a lot on there. And like you say, you just got to be determined, and then also not think about it too much, like, about how difficult some things can be. Just go for it, so.
Yeah, if I had along those lines, man, if I had a superpower, it would be, my superpower is that I'm willing to try something. I'm willing to, like a lot of people, they go, "Oh, my computer stopped working."
Right.
And they're like, I don't know what to do.
Right. You're going to tinker with it and figure it out as best you can, huh?
Man, I could rebuild a computer from scratch.
Oh, wow.
I fixed probably 30 to 40 computers in my life, because I'm like, at first I was like, I took one apart, I opened it up, and I was like, what the hell is all this crap? And then you just start figuring it out. But
right.
Most people would look at a puzzle like that and go, nah. Same with like an acting career. Most people go like, they look at the end goal. They look at somebody on TV or somebody in a movie, and they go like, I can't have that. It's way out there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely. I mean,
but if you break it down and you don't just look at the computer, you look at the inside, and you see this mess of all these components, and you go like, I have no idea. Instead of doing that, you just start with one thing, and you go, what is this thing?
Yep.
And then what is this thing? And pretty soon, you understand all the parts that get you to the TV.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's that blueprint and that willingness to just go after each thing. Like, you know, for starters, I go find somebody that inspires you and see how they operate.
Right.
Like I'm a dork for saying this, man. I know that. Dork's such an old word that made me sound my age. But like The Rock, I'm really inspired by The Rock.
Yeah,
and I'm
he's
inspired
came a
by
long
him.
way.
And he's 52. I'm inspired by him because he's got this gene that I don't have, which is he wants more.
Yeah.
All the time. Like he just seems hungry to go, oh, he's got like this is his brand, right? And he's got like he's the biggest movie star on earth. He's the most popular guy on the planet. He's got like his Terramana now, that his tequila
drink, yeah.
And he's got like he's hooked up with Under Armour, and he's hooked up with like so many brands that I'm going. It's at this point, and this is the thing that's interesting, when it's no longer about money. Right.
Yeah.
Then that's when life really starts. I think creatively, when it's no longer about money. Because for The Rock, none of this is about money anymore. Right.
He got everything paid for by now. What is he doing?
For the next 15 lifetimes,
right?
Man, he can't spend his money.
Right. Just like we were just talking about Elon Musk. It's not about money with him either. No. He doesn't even take a salary from Tesla. You know,
he's the richest person on earth, right? He was 300. I mean, it goes up and down depending on the style. But he's worth like
hundreds of
billion dollars. Like, what are you going to do with that?
Right.
You know, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fix the problem. I'm gonna buy Mexico. You know, I mean, at this point, what can he? You know, he can do anything, and yet he chooses to. Same with him physically, right? He's at the gym all the time, and you go, dude, nobody looks bigger or stronger than Rock.
Right.
He's still pushing himself to get better. And I'm like, if I can put that in a pill,
definitely. Yeah.
I would be all about that, because I don't have that, man. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, shit.
Right.
I don't want to do anything.
Maybe The Rock got those Limitless pill from that movie.
Exactly.
He's on it, man. So one more thing before we talk about a little bit of power, man. So you getting your start into the acting career. You was in Saving Private Ryan, okay? What was that like? I know you was just, a soldier, but you in a Spielberg production. You see this huge ordeal. How did that inspire you? Did you start to think you were making it? And then also Black Cadillac, which was based on a true story. You were like the main cast member and like Randy Quaid and things. So how was your start when you were starting to do that? I know it was a few years between the two, but a little bit about that.
Well, Saving Private Ryan, I was going to college still. And I was working, I was studying in London. And they cast Saving Private Ryan, which I remember they had these posters up for Saving Private Ryan. I didn't even have headshots yet. And I was like, what a stupid name for a movie, Saving Private Ryan. I mean, now we've heard it so much now.
Right.
Like, I was like, you gotta come up with something better than that. But anyway, I was like, all right, whatever. I submitted my headshot. I had to have a friend take them. And then they called me in. And I auditioned, and it was like one of my first auditions, so I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So before I came back to the United States, a few weeks later, I called up the office, the casting office, and I was like, "Hey, my name is Shane Johnson. I auditioned for that movie. Should I stick around?" And they were like, "No, it's fine. Go ahead and go back to the United States. You didn't get it, basically."
Right.
And so then I was like, "Okay, whatever." And so I went back to L.A. basically. It was actually Portland area.
Okay.
And then that same day, like literally I landed and then they called me and they said, we need you back here. So,
Damn. Just wasted all that money and time.
Yeah. And I was a local hire in London. So they were like, yeah, you gotta fly us up back here. And I was like, thanks a lot. But we spent maybe 2.5 weeks or something like that in Ireland filming all that beach stuff and all the stuff, the aftermath of that. And it was incredible. It was incredible to work with and around, you know, Tom Hanks, who I've done a couple of things with, and, you know, Vin Diesel that was his start.
Yeah, he got killed with the little girl. He said, put him back. And he was carrying the...
Because he wasn't even in the movie, and Spielberg saw...
He did a self-tape or something, a self-movie, right?
No, he wrote... Talk about being a self-starter. He wrote, produced, starred in, directed a film that got into Sundance.
Okay, yeah. Because then I think he wrote a book about doing that or something as well, didn't he? He borrowed... Yeah, he borrowed money or something to get that all done. Sold his car or something. And,
I'm sure that's true.
Yeah, sold his car to fund that, yeah.
Spielberg saw it. And he called up the writer of Saving Private Ryan, and he was like, you got to write this guy a part.
Wow.
And so he literally just made up that part kind of after the fact because Spielberg was so impressed by Vin Diesel. So Giovanni Ribisi, Adam Goldberg.
Amazing movie, amazing cast. Yeah.
I mean, Nathan Fillion. That was Nathan Fillion's first big movie. I mean, there was just the cast was insane.
Right.
And one of the things that struck me about all those people, most of them, is that they all were out there doing their own shit too.
Right. Matt Damon was in it as well, and Tom Sizemore was excellent in it as well, you know. And
he's great. Too bad he's had some
hard times. Yeah,
I think some mental health issues, honestly, and some drug issues. But he's a great actor.
Excellent actor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to say one thing real quick. Like, that's a great point what you said about Vin Diesel. You never know who sees your work. You just got to go for it. When he made that, he didn't think Steven Spielberg would be seeing that film and put him in, you know? So
yeah. And I think that that's the other thing is that's such a great training ground to make something like that, to be part of a film, to even if there's not much money in it, or if there's no money. Like my first movie that I starred in was a movie. I moved to LA. We had Backstage West back then, which was just a periodical that came out where you could look for basically like personal ads, except that they were like, hey, we're doing a student film, or we're doing this and that, and there was no money in it. They basically said, we'll give you a meal and we'll give you a copy of the tape, right? And I got this movie that we shot over like maybe 20 days, and I starred in. It was like I was the main guy in it, which was incredible. Didn't get paid anything. The movie never went anywhere. It did some festivals or whatever, but I got to work with other actors. I got to work with the director. I got to be on set, and that was invaluable to me moving forward.
Right.
You know, because about a few years later after that, I did Black Cadillac, and I was ready.
Yeah, right. And that's a good movie as well, Black Cadillac.
Thank you. Yeah. And if you haven't seen The Possession of Michael King, that movie is like, I'm very proud of that thing. I did it right before I got Power. I'm gonna check that out. It's like a horror film, but it's I think it's really well done.
Right.
And it was a lot of fun to carry a movie like that. But anyway, so to finish answering your question, man, Saving Private Ryan was terrifying for me and amazing at the same time. I had some cool conversations with Spielberg, with Tom Hanks, and my stuff was with Tom Hanks, and he was really cool. And to have Spielberg yelling at me through a bullhorn was,
Right.
It was terrifying. Like, there's the part in the movie where the sound is vacuumed out of the movie.
In the beginning,
the sound's vacuumed out.
Right. He got like a ringing in his ear type thing. Shell shock. Right.
Like shell shock.
Right. Yeah.
And then the guy like picks up his own arm.
Yeah, and he's walking around like looking, don't know where to go. Yeah.
And then I'm the guy that shakes Tom Hanks out of it.
Oh, okay.
So like, it's like this. It's literally like my face fills the frame. I'm about 5 years old, and but nobody else was really there for the close up. It was just me, the cameraman, and behind the cameraman was Spielberg with a bullhorn, just yelling at me. And I thought he was pissed. And he was just getting a performance out of it.
Right. Okay.
But when we did the beach stuff, man, it was wild because it felt pretty real.
It looks it. The guy was putting his guts back in and everything, and
well, they had. I'll just tell you this very quickly because I think it's pretty interesting. So we come out of the boats. You look up. They had those pillboxes, which is where the Germans had their Gatling guns and stuff like that.
Right.
They're firing down on you. You can hear it, and you can see the fire coming out of the barrels of the gun.
Oh, wow.
So it looks and sounds real.
Right.
Then they had high-pressure PVC pipes in the water so that as you're running through the water, you take,
oh,
and you're
wow.
looking up and you're seeing it. And then as you hit the beach, they're little tiny flags. They were like, don't step here, don't step there, run here, run there. And so as you're running through, these detonations are going off. And the thing that made it feel kind of the realest was the debris raining down on your helmet as you run. This felt like, oh my God, we're being attacked. And then they had about a dozen amputees that they would build arms and legs for. And as they're running, they were stunt guys as well, so they'd be running with a fake leg. They'd step on a detonation, and it would blow their leg off.
Wow.
Like this is 1996 when we shot that.
So before green screen stuff.
Yeah, it's practical effects. It's like they're just doing it, and that's what's in the movie.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And so that was like wild, and it was fun to be a part of, and obviously it was an incredible movie. At the time, I didn't know. You know, I was maybe 20 years old at the time. So
right.
It was, and then, of course, it was downhill from there for a while.
That's how acting can go. You know, it's an up and down business. But once you get rolling, you get rolling, though. Yeah. Speaking of getting rolling, we know that you got to Power eventually. Before you got to Power, when did you really think you got it going? Because Power, you got it, 2014, right?
Yeah, we started filming in 2013.
Okay. All right.
You know, listen, some people, I remember hearing this story about, I think it was one of the Hemsworth brothers who, I think it was Liam, and they're from Australia, right?
Right.
So he was like, yeah, I came out, man. It was like an article. He was like, I came out to LA. I was like sleeping on my brother's couch or whatever he was doing. He was like, and he goes, I almost gave it up. Because I'd been out there. I've been in LA for 3 months and like nothing was happening. And I was like, what?
That's nothing, right? That's a day, right?
What are you talking about? It's like, right before I was gonna pack it in and go back to Australia, I booked the Hunger Games or something like that. And I was like, man, get out of here.
He don't know how lucky he got.
Oh man, but so it's funny because in your career, you will feel like you have so many times when you're like, this is the thing. And then it's not. You know what I mean? Right, but we have to keep that belief. We have to keep believing that this is the thing. Did I think that Power was going to be the thing?
Right.
Honestly, it was, I've done like probably 70 plus things, in my career. So did I know that Power was going to be the thing that caught fire? No, I didn't.
Yeah, because it kind of came out of nowhere. It was only, 8 episodes the first season with a rapper, 50 Cent. A lot of people didn't know the cast too well. And you've been there now for the whole entire ride,
No, it's crazy, man. So it's
crazy.
Such a huge blessing.
Yeah.
Such a huge blessing. And it wasn't Starz brand either. Starz was doing, like, Da Vinci's Demons.
Black Sails, a pirate show. And then they had, like, Spartacus, which was, like, Roman, ancient Roman or whatever. Not ancient, but you know what I mean? Like medieval times. And so it was, then and their brand was taking you places. It was like historical dramas. And so to come out and have this current urban
drug drama with like sexiness and like violence and all this stuff, and it was just not their brand.
Yeah.
And so I think we were all kind of like, well, who knows? Let's see. And so when it took off, I mean, we were all surprised. And now look, we got like,
it's the #1 show on the network.
And we got three spinoffs.
Right. So everybody here know you as Cooper Saxe. You know, Tommy called you Dirty. Well, he called you Ball Sax. I throw in the dirty because he's dirty. So I call it nickname DBS, Dirty Ball Sax. What's it like to play this complicated character that was the good guy, gets pissed because the law is not working the right way, takes the law into his own hands, then stops, gets a conflict of interest now? Like, he's got so many layers, you know. Then he was kind of lonely at one point. Now he's kind of found love. Confused because he lost a job. Now got a great job, but conflicted. What's it like playing this character for so long with so many different layers and things? What's going on with DBS?
Well, it's funny. You laid out a lot of it, man.
Yeah.
It's been, you know, it started off, he was very inside the bounds of the law. And he was a prick. He was always a prick, but he was doing everything by the book. And then after just losing, I think he just was like, you know what? He just found a justification to kind of plant a little evidence. You know,
right.
but listen, I know he's guilty. I just can't prove it. So
right.
I'm just going to help myself prove this. And then that's the little avenue that I opened up as Cooper Saxe opens up to sort of start this whole ball rolling, where and then it ultimately gets to the point where I turns out that I'm going to lose at the end of Power. This is the first show. Then I end up with a gun. I end up going to the club, I'm going to handle this myself. And really the only reason I'm still around is because, in a way, Tariq saved me.
He did. Because he handled it before you had to.
He got there first, you know?
He got there first.
But now being, you know, now that I lost my job and chose to kind of make a deal with the devil in terms of Davis McLean, that was kind of my alternative, was admitting defeat and going and working with my family and being miserable for the rest of my life. So it was kind of like, it wasn't that hard of a choice. I think once Davis came to me and said, you know, hey, come work for the dark side. And and I think that, you know, I think at first Cooper's thinking, hey, you know, I can do this. I can be a defense attorney. Why not? I know the law and I know both sides. I could be great at this. And then once he starts to go, oh, I see how Davis operates.
Right.
It's just all about the money.
Yeah. Because you was going hard on Tariq like a prosecutor still. Like, wait a minute, you forgot you don't do that job anymore.
Yeah, it's hard for him. You know, it's hard for
switch
him
it off, huh?
To let it go.
Yeah.
Because he also has an unfinished business with the St. Patrick's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, he never got that. Like, Ghost was his Moby Dick. You know, he was like Ahab after Moby Dick, and he got away. And so it's like this unfinished business. Then Tariq steps into that same role a little bit for him, and but he also sees. I think that the difference is that I believe that Cooper sees the goodness in Tariq as well. He knows he's guilty of a lot of shit, but he also kind of has a little bit of, you know, I don't want to call it fatherly, like, but it is kind of like paternal hope that this kid can be something better, than his dad, you know, And I know he killed his dad, but I also know that his dad was a monster,
So in a way, it's like, well, you actually did a good thing, kid, but I know you are capable of doing some stuff still, because you're still a murderer, you know. I ain't gonna lie, Sax pissed me off when he followed him to the cemetery. I'm like, man, what is he doing? Recording. Let me ask you this though. So some people say Sax is a bad guy. Is Sax a bad guy, good guy, or is he confused? What would you say?
Well, it's funny. Like I really love. I'm a fan of this show, and I really love shows like this where the
complicated characters.
Yeah, and the heroes of the show are actually the bad guys. You know?
That's true.
Where, you know, you have everybody loved Ghost, and he was a serial killer and a drug dealer,
right,
and a womanizer, and and cheating on his wife, and all those sort of things. Like if you really break it down, you go, okay, well, he's actually a bad guy, but what he really is a dark hero. He's somebody that has faults that we can look at and go, I understand this guy. I understand why he's doing it. He's trying to make a better life for his family. There's stuff in his way, and like Dexter is one of my favorite shows.
Yes,
and that dude was killing somebody every week.
Right, chopping them up and everything. So
and I was like, I can't wait till the next episode.
Right.
So I think it really taps into that part of us that doesn't necessarily. It's kind of like a fantasy kind of stuff, because it's stuff that we don't normal. The average person doesn't necessarily go, oh, I want a new car, so they just go out and smash a window and take it.
Right.
But in this world, in this fantasy world, stuff like that happens.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I think that, is Cooper Saxe a bad guy? I think that initially he wasn't, and I think he's compromised, and
right.
in being compromised, he's become more complex, more interesting to play for sure. Like every year, the layers that have been added to Cooper have made him a lot more. Once power ended with Me with the Gun, being willing to kill somebody, and then bringing in my niece and my family, adding those complications, and then bringing in. Now I'm working with Method Man, and
who's doing an excellent job, from How High, from one of my favorite rappers to Wu-Tang to, damn, he looked like a damn good lawyer. He's nailing this role,
Yeah, he's great, man. He's just also a great guy.
Down to earth, cool, huh?
Great actor, cool. Always elevates the room. Really about the work.
Right.
Comes in ready. He and I go toe to toe, and it's so much fun. I feel like he and I elevate each other a lot, and it's been a lot of fun to dance with him.
Right.
And I hope we get more and more sort of that kind of shit to do, because it's fun.
The way it's set up, you all are gonna clash next season, because Sax, man, say what you want, Sax figures stuff out. And he gonna figure out, we can tell, he gonna figure out that Method Man, Davis McClain is the one instead of Redman, who I also love Redman as well. They're two of my favorite rappers, but he's gonna figure it out. I just can't wait to see it unfold, how they're gonna do it. But I think that might get Sax in trouble. We'll see.
Yeah, it's Sax is, it's funny too, because something else that occurs to me is, Sax is pretty. He's beaten up by this job too. Like you have to, if you just think about it as a human,
you take that job home with you.
Well, if you think about it like as if he's a real person,
right?
If Cooper Saxe is, over the course of a handful of years, has had so many people die.
Right. His whole office.
his whole office.
Right.
From Greg Knox, who was his friend, to the guy that was betraying us but was my friend, Miguel Sandoval.
Right. Donovan. Angie.
Friend, Angela.
Who you wanted to really be friends with.
Exactly. And then all the other peripheral sort of characters that I was involved with, from Proctor's wife, and Proctor, and there's so many people that have just dropped.
Right.
And I feel like Cooper's also kind of like on edge in a different kind of way, because he's just seen so much death. Like there's a great line. I think it's Monique, who plays Blanca Rodriguez. She says something. We were having an argument, and I say, "Look, what's the common denominator with all these deaths?" And we have this board up, and there's all these people that are dead. And I say, "It's James St. Patrick." And she's like, "And you." Yeah.
Right.
So it's been an awesome ride, and it's so much more fun every year You know, some people are like, do you get bored playing it? And I'm like, but every year there's more to it.
Right.
Every year it's more complex. So every year I get to dive in. And I think now that he's got this love interest, that's challenging because now he's got this. He also has something that, as opposed to just being aggressive and driven in a business way, he also has his heart involved. Right.
Yeah. Let me tell everybody watching, we got about 150 people watching. Thanks, everybody. If you got a couple questions you want to ask, go ahead and type it in, and I'll ask Shane a couple of you all's questions. You got a birthday coming up. Happy birthday as well.
Sort of, yeah. I don't have a birthday this year. I'm born on a leap day.
Oh, okay, right. 29th, that's right. So
I have a birthday every 4 years.
So how does that work as a leap year baby? I actually never spoke with one. Do you really celebrate it every 4 years, or do you just say 28th on the years it's not?
No, man, I'm 11. I've had 11 birthdays. That's it. My kids are actually older than I am.
Like aging in dog years over there, man. Well, not dog year, what reverse dog years, I would say, rather, you know, instead of one every.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but it's So I just celebrated on the 28th or the 1st, March 1st or whatever. So it's and then the thing that's cool was, I mean, because we celebrate every year, but on every 4 years when I actually have a birthday, it's like a blowout. So
right.
It's kind of like. So what it really is like every
that's actually pretty cool, cooler in a way.
Special birthday.
It is more special. Not only is it your birthday, it's a special day that doesn't come around but once every 4 years. Wow, I didn't think about it that way. It's an extra special day.
Yeah, it's certainly better than like I have a couple of bros that I have 3 brothers actually, but 2 of them are born. Like one's born the day after Christmas,
right,
and then one's born New Year's Eve. And it's like people are already doing stuff, you know?
Right. You
get all the Christmas presents as a kid. You get all the Christmas presents, and then the next day is your birthday.
Right. Yeah, I got a friend born on Christmas, and I thought it was the coolest as a kid. Not as an adult now. Like you say, everybody's already doing stuff, and you know, it's not the same. So
it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
New Year's Eve is the same way. But,
yeah.
But anyway.
Ray asked, what's your thoughts about Force? And he said, what about Rojas? That's my guy that I played, you know, but
Here, I'll tell you this.
Right.
I thought Force, first of all, I think the world of Joe Sikora. I think he's
amazing.
A great dude, first of all.
Yeah.
And I think that he's
and he's from Chicago too.
Yeah, and I think he's an incredible actor.
Very.
And I think that the show's got a great setup. I really thought that in your character, you know, like I was saying to you, there's certainly a potential for a future there because you know, obviously there's some beef there, which I don't quite understand.
Right.
The groundwork for beef was laid, like make a call. Wait, we're gonna lay low.
Right. Wait till he get comfortable.
Yeah.
Then we putting in that call. Hey.
yeah. But so he, but that guy, Diamond, who's Isaacs.
Yeah.
I thought he was fantastic. Like, just kind of stoic and comfortable and easy, and he kind of lets you do the work, and I think that's, you know what I mean. But he had a lot going on. Like I think he's a football player.
Right. He played in the NFL for a few years. Yeah, big guy, real cool.
He seems like really talented, and I really liked. I love Tommy Flanagan.
Yeah, he's an excellent actor. Excellent actor. So
And you guys are that show's getting sexy over there too.
Man, I was really happy to see it too. I mean, you know, book 2 is a younger crowd, but that's the thing that's cool about Power Universe. I call it the PCU. You know how they got the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Yeah, it's the PCU. And so the PCU is so good because you have people 15, 16 that watch it, all the way up to my mom, who turns like 85 on the 16th. And she can't get enough of it. So from 16 to 85 demographic, that's huge. Like, very few shows have people that's in their teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 8. Wow. And so, like, what are some of your stories of maybe fans coming up to you from all kind of age, and as well, black, white, Hispanic, Latino, all of that, you know, Asian, everybody watches it. I mean, it crosses all kind of boundaries, genres, demographics. What's your thoughts on that and some of your experiences?
Yeah, you know, you're right. Like, one of the experiences that surprises me the most sometimes is my kids go to it. Like, my wife and kids are Jewish, and so they go to a Jewish day school out in Los Angeles, and I'll be at the school sometimes, and these like old Jewish ladies that work there, and one of them who must be in her 70s, and she's
what up with 50 Cent?
Yeah, she's like, she stops me and she's like, oh, you know, I love the show so much. You're so great in the show. And she goes, I'm such a huge fan, and I'm going. It just to me, just demographic wise, I was like, what? And then my kids, kids coaches, you know, the coaches at the school there, they watch the show, and some of the teachers watch the show, and some of the kids' parents. Like, I mean, so yeah, that's been the because in my mind it was kind of like separate worlds. I was like, I got that pocket where I'm kind of anonymous,
right.
They don't know who I am. And then I found out, like, no, a lot of those people know who you are. They
just don't approach you the same, maybe.
I think we got like 15 million people watching the show.
Right.
It's nuts.
And then if you count the YouTube verse, it's another 15 to 20 million easily that watch all of these YouTubers. I saw you with my friend Lamont the other night, do an interview. He's a really cool guy. You know, it's other people in this world that do Mark Dark, movie by so many people that cover this show. If you add up all the views and everything, millions of people watch this and can't get enough.
Listen, I remember a few years ago, I was just driving with my family, and that Cardi B song came on, and I can't remember what the name of the song is, but she's singing about love and stuff like that, and she goes like that, Tommy and Keisha, and she just sort of dropped it into the word,
right?
And kept it moving, and I was like, oh man, we're like part of the culture,
right? The lexicon.
She didn't have to like break it down and go, okay, so you know that show, and then these characters. Everybody
knew
Tommy and Keisha, and she's like, everybody knows.
Yep. Speaking of Tommy, here's a question. Danny Girl says, Shane, you originally auditioned for the Tommy role. Could you give us your version of the Tommy impression?
Well, she's right. I did originally audition for Tommy, and then I auditioned for Greg Knox, and then I auditioned for Sax.
Right.
But my Tommy was not like Joe Sikora's Tommy. You know, mine was just kind of like a tougher sort of street version of me.
Right. You got a good New York accent, or?
Well, I don't think I really
did an accent.
Nah, but I don't really think that like Omari was doing a New York accent.
No, he doesn't. We've talked about that on some of my videos and other things. He doesn't really have a New York accent either. You're right. You know, he originally from Georgia. He don't have a country accent. He kind of just like straight.
I think they just kind of are like, look, you know, the standard American thing. And I think Joe kind of uses like a mixture of Brooklyn and Chicago and kind of puts it in the street, right?
Yeah.
And it just kind of like, it's his own, I mean, what would you call that? Would you think, is Joe doing New York or is he doing Chicago?
I wouldn't really say it's New York, and I wouldn't exactly say Chicago, but it's like kind of a mixture. Every now and then you can hear in New York. I do a Tommy impression. Hey, what are you trying to do over here? You want to come over here? I saw you coming this way, and I had to pull out a gun, you know. But
yeah, I agree. I think he just kind of has his own pattern, his own sort of thing that he's created, which he's stuck with since the beginning, and I think it's great.
Right.
For me, it was just like a different side of me. You know, the thing that's funny is Cooper. I'm not like Cooper Saxe at all. You know, the thing that I bring to Cooper Saxe that I think that is me is like the humor and kind of the wry sort of like, you know, kind of looking at things a little bit sideways and finding the humor and stuff. I think that's something that I bring to Saxe. But the sort of highly educated, privileged sort of, you know, like went to Yale sort of energy, that's not me at all. You know, like I said, I grew up in a little farm town. So,
right.
So
doing a great job.
Across. And that's something that's frustrating to a lot of actors. It's not frustrating to me, but it's frustrating to a lot of actors that they're stuck with their casting.
Right.
You look how you look, you know?
That's true.
And you sound how you sound, and you got the body that you have. And so when you walk in a room, casting directors, before you even open your mouth, they're like going, "Oh, Shane, yeah, come on in." And they're already making notes. They've already made like 50% of their mind up.
Yeah.
About whether or not I'm right for this part.
Yeah. Because the same with me. I mean, you know, I was in prison. I'm not a prisoner and have all that, you know, but that's what they saw. I mean, I can put my mind in that space, and then that's what I'll be, you know. But at the same time, I filmed Power. I filmed a show on Showtime, Work in Progress, and I was in 4 episodes of that, and I'm in the office wearing cashmere sweaters, and I'm a copywriter, you know, working in an agency, and it's a comedy. You know, so one show I was filming, I'm in prison, then the next day I'm in the office wearing nice sweaters and a comedy and things. So, you know, it is what it is. I used to work in the office and different things and stuff, so, you know, I was able to do
that's
both.
That's what you want it to be, right? As
exactly.
You want to be able to stretch yourself. Like, you've seen other things that, like Joe has done, for instance. He's really done all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he has.
And so have I. You know, I've played so many different types of characters. I mean, before landing this, most of what I've played is like, I can't tell you how many times I've been a murderer, pedophile, been murdered.
Right.
So many times. Like, most of the time, for whatever reason, most of my stuff is like, I always get cast as like an asshole.
Right.
And so then I had to stop and go, am I in that? What's going on here?
Right.
But again, like I said,
but you nailed it with Sax. I'll definitely say that. You know.
Thank you. But I think part of that is that, like I said, it's that first impression.
Right.
Before you even open your mouth.
That's
true. And then the second thing is like, okay, well, what does he sound like?
Right.
And I don't have a question. I just want Shane to say, "Hey, Desiree." Hey, Desiree. So,
there you go, Desiree.
You know, you're stuck with what you are, and I think that as our characters build, as your career builds, and you become more and more of a household name, that's when you get to do. I think that's when you really get the opportunity to kind of branch out and do whatever you want.
Right. Atara, I did see this. I forgot what show it was on, but I saw the picture where Joe Sikora played a pregnant man or something, or a pregnant woman.
Yeah, I saw that too. It was like it was a comedy series, I believe. It was I feel like it was with like that Strangers with Candy chick or some kind of thing like that.
Okay.
And it was, but so yeah, he's done that. He's played like, you know, an abused guy. I saw him do an episode of like SVU where he was this really abused and sort of like really fragile sort of character. And, you know, you get what you get. You know
right,
what I mean?
right. Just nail it. You book it. Do your best. Like you said, what we mentioned earlier with Vin Diesel, you never know who may see it. It all goes into your body of work, and you just keep improving. You use that experience, you know, and, you know, keep getting better. you know, people love what you're doing here as well. Like they say, you've been doing a fabulous job as Sax. You've been a great actor as well. A lot of people here love it. Love Uncle Nancy.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate the love. I really do. I do. I mean, it's funny because it's fun to hate Cooper Saxe. I mean, me too. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, what an idiot. But but it's also fun to just like commit to it 100%. And I get a lot of hate mail, a lot of hate messages, and
really, people take it too damn far, man. I heard Michael Rainey was getting all kind of stuff when he killed Ghost.
Well, and that's the thing. You know, so much of this, as an audience, you put it on the actors. You're like, because that's what you're seeing.
Right. You get emotionally invested. Right.
But the reality is it's in terms of who's responsible for this more than anyone, it's the writers. Right. You know, because like I remember when Courtney came to me about this spinoff. And she said, so, hey, would you be interested in being a part of this? Something along the lines, would you be interested in being a part of this Tariq spinoff?
Right.
And I was like, first of all, I was like, hell yeah, thank you so much. Well, that's amazing. And then as she walked away, I was thinking, like, who the hell wants a Tariq spinoff?
Right. Especially after what he did.
Right, because the heat was all the way up through Power was literally every decision, every choice that Tariq made led to somebody's death, and he was betraying people constantly. His dad would say, hey man, just do this and things will be cool. He would do the opposite. His mom would say, hey, stay in the house. He would leave. Uncle Tommy would say, hey man, don't tell anybody about this thing. He'd run out and tell somebody.
Right.
And he just constantly getting people killed. They got Kanan killed.
Yeah,
killed.
I'm glad they showed that in the next to last episode too, when everybody was waiting for him in his dream. You know, he got a whole room full of people he done messed over, like you said.
Yeah. but the thing is my point of bringing that up was it's unbelievable how great like Courtney is at crafting story. And because she saw it. She knew I was going like, Tariq.
Right.
Are we going to catch an audience? And then she was like, hell yeah, we are. And she just knew that she could, like, season 6 gently sort of took us from believing in Ghost and being, it's all about Ghost, to kind of going, well, he's kind of like telling his kids to turn himself in, and he's kind of betraying his wife, and he's kind of betraying his best friend, and you kind of start to, by the time he kills his dad,
everybody hated him.
But you kind of understand it.
Right.
And you also see that he's becoming a man, and he's kind of making a decision like, I'm not going to let anybody run my life. I'm going to run it. And I'm going to be better than you are. Because he doesn't have just Ghost. He's got Kanan as a mentor. He's got Tasha. He's got Tommy. And he's got Ghost.
Yeah.
So he's kind of the marriage of the best and worst of all of them. You know?
Right. That's a good point. Definitely. So yeah, man. Yeah, it definitely is turned out to be, an excellent, way of everything coming out, and people can't get enough of book 2. People really love it. We got one of the guys here, Brillo. He says they need to turn your water off. That was from BMF, basically take you out. He wants you to come back as a ghost so you can keep getting those checks. If they don't turn the water off, he gonna keep getting them. He come back as a ghost. That's only 1 or 2 appearances, maybe. But before you get up out of here, because I could talk to you all day, man. But I know you're a busy man. Who you got in the Super Bowl, man? The Super Bowl is what, tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Okay, who you got, man? You live in L.A. now. Did you become a person that now claims L.A. now instead of, well, I guess Washington don't have a team, and the Seahawks, right. So
I'm a Seahawks fan.
Okay.
And we kicked ass for a few years there in a row, and Pete Carroll kind of made a little mistake there against the Patriots. What you gonna do?
Man, they didn't give it to beast mode. It kind of made the team fall apart. They all lost confidence in him. Looked like Russell Wilson may even be leaving soon, which that would be a huge mistake.
I know. Yeah. And then my wife is from Kansas City, so I've also become a Chiefs fan. And I think, and they're great. But they kind of like fell apart a little bit here at the 11th hour. And so that aside, I am not a Rams fan.
Okay.
Just partially because I just never have been. And if I were to be a Rams fan, it would just be because, well, I'm in LA, so I'll be a Rams fan.
Right.
So, and I'm kind of rooting for the Bengals. I have a friend whose kid is on the team.
Okay.
And so I'm rooting for him for his sake. I think it'd be a lot of fun if he was in acting class with me. 20 years ago, this guy, and he just did everything he could to get his kid like all the private coaching, all the stuff, and he was even on Oprah, and Oprah was like, "Hey, don't you think this is a little bit much? Like, sort of marrying your kid and all this."
And now he's in the Super Bowl.
And now he's in the NFL. He's in the Super Bowl.
What's his name?
Well, he's one of the receivers. He actually, I don't even know if he's suiting up, but he's getting paid. And he's on the team.
Hey, that's what counts. He'll get a ring.
Yeah, he's young. Yeah,
right.
I think they get a nice bump if they win the Super Bowl too.
Right.
But his name's Trenton Irwin.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, everybody, root for him, Trenton Irwin.
Yeah. So I think it'd be fun if they won, and but if they win, it's gonna be a huge upset. I think the Rams are hugely favored. Yeah,
definitely. You say he's on the Rams, right? Trenton Irwin.
No, he's on the
Bengals.
He's on.
Okay. All right. Okay. No problem. They having a magical run right now. They got hot at the right time. And that's a very young team too. So they probably, like what you said, don't know no better. They don't even understand how lucky they are, because some people never get there, play a whole career, never make it.
No, you're totally right, and you can even see that inside of games. Like you see, like with Mahomes, when the game that they lost, they were ahead 21-3.
Right.
Right before the half, they made a mistake. They were at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
And then they didn't score, but still they were ahead.
Yeah.
21-3.
Yeah.
But then they started playing safe.
Yeah. You never do that.
How do you let them come back from 3-21?
Right. That's damn near what Atlanta did to the Patriots in the Super Bowl, playing safe. Always play to win.
You got to play to win, man. And that's the thing. It's a good life lesson, really. It's like, just because they talk about people get a little bit of money, and then all of a sudden they get really protective. Like, how do I protect my money? How do I save my money? I feel like that. And I gotta go, Shane, knock it off, man. Dude, you're in your prime. Like, get it. Don't worry so much about like what's gonna happen in 30 years. It's like, shut up, man. Just keep moving. Don't get safe now. Don't play it safe now. Believe in yourself. Invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself.
That's so true, man. I was like that myself about 10 years ago. And then after getting in an accident, I was doing a little real estate, working a job. I owned a few houses. I was driving a nice Mercedes. I was only 33. And I'm thinking I'm doing great. I got plans to do this, do that. And I'm driving home from work doing 35 miles an hour, slide out in the rain, boom. Now I'm like, oh, man. Like, what the hell? Like, I had all these plans and things. Now what I'm going to do? And so I decided, you know what? I'm just going to live my life, make the most out of every day. I'm not going to be reckless and not, have plans, but I'm not going to focus, like you say, on 30 years. I'm going to focus on a few days at a time, and in the moment, what can I do now? And then what the hell? I'm going to go for it. I mean, after that, what's going to happen? If I don't get this gig, okay, well, I didn't have it before, so I'm still here,
Right, man. And in some ways, like, listen, every day is a blessing, and unfortunately, shit happens. Like what happened to you. I have a buddy I went to high school with who was about to, incredible golfer. He was going to go to the PGA.
Wow.
He got in an accident, ended up in a wheelchair, and it was just like, oh my God, like his whole plan was, he was an athlete, he was going to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And what he did was like, he just had a mindset of excelling. So he was an incredible golfer. And now he's like a motivational speaker, and he's did the Paralympics, and he's just like, and I was like, man, I wonder if I would have that same kind of like gumption, that same kind of like, don't let anything stop you. But life is crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, we all face adversity in our lives. It's at different levels, but the difference between us is what do we do when we face that adversity? Are we going to adjust and adapt, or are we going to let it take the best of us, or move on and hide or run or give up? And, it may be whether, like you say, it was tough times where you wasn't getting the gigs for a minute. You didn't give up. You had to face that and do what it did, whatever it took to make it to the next level. Some people go through that same patch and they say they give up and they don't continue with that path of trying to make it or go into acting or whatever. Exactly. Yeah.
I tell you, when I first hit LA and I was like 22, I go to an audition and there'd be 1,000 other guys that look basically like me for the same job.
Right. Wow.
5 years later, there's 250. 5 years later, there's 75. Here, damn near, God, like 25 years later or so, when I go into these rooms now, when I know that I'm in a pocket of maybe 10 guys. So from 1,000 to 10, those other 990 people, they were like, they moved back home. They did something else. They became a this or became a that. And that's cool.
Right.
That's cool. I'm not knocking it.
Right.
But at some point, their belief and their drive and their desire, their hunger, and really their belief in themselves broke down.
Yep.
Which is why we started off talking about how important it is to have that support system of people that lift you. Because if people lift you, you can, sky's the limit.
Definitely. So definitely, anybody out there listening, man, definitely that's a goal right there. That's a gem right there. Yeah, and
it starts. And I'll say this, man. Last thing I think is important. It starts by you being a good friend.
Yeah.
You being a good friend.
Yeah.
And by the way, the bullshit it'll peek its head. You'll see who they are. You'll know right away.
Yeah.
Like the people that if you lift everybody up around you and they can't just find the strength to lift you as well, then that's not your friend.
Hey, that you are 1,000% right. I mean, and it happens all the time. Like even in YouTube, I've tried to help people, and when it comes for them to do something little for me, they're not there. And some people, because I got a little membership thing as well, and we talk, and some people say, well, Jay, why you kept doing this and that? Well, like you said, I'm giving a person enough time so that they show me the bullshit. You played yourself, because I gave you this shot. I tried to be here and do this and that, and you show me who you are in return. I was a good friend to you, and that's how you repaid me. So I don't have a problem with cutting you loose. You know what I mean? You did it for me.
Yeah, life's too short, and you got to keep it moving, because you can lose days, weeks, months, years trying to understand why this one particular friend who you may love to death, but they just can't get it together for you.
Yep.
They can't get it together for you, and you're like, but I'm always there for them.
Yep.
I'm always there for them. I don't get it. And then you try harder and you try to understand. It's like, no, man, they're just not built that way. They're not built that way. And get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that you need to build a launching pad for you to take over the world.
Definitely, and make sure they value you, as much as you value them.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Definitely. All right, man. Well, a lot of people loving these messages and stories and everything. It was definitely great talking to you.
Such a pleasure, man. Such a pleasure. You're great. You're fantastic. You're a great actor. I look forward to seeing you in other things too. You're great in force, and it was really my pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate it. Thank you. And you've been nailing it with Sax. Everybody love to hate DBS. you know. So I can't wait to see how this character unfolds in season 3 of you know, book 2. One of my favorite parts of book 2 is watching Sax and some of the things he's got going on. I like book 4 and the more growner shows a little more, but I love to hate Tariq. I'm one of those. I don't like him still. You killed your pops and all of that. I'm not going to, you know, forget that, you know, and I'm
because you have a 17-year-old son.
Right.
Too, so don't be getting any ideas.
That's right. I don't care what I tell you. Don't even think about that one. That's TV, okay? Don't take it there, boy. Hey, I may not be able to use my legs, but these work just as good, all right? Don't make me go there, all right? That's all I need. Either one. Where I got the camera. Either one. Which one you want? You saw I played a prisoner pretty good, so I can do it, you know. It don't matter, you know. No,
That's right.
But you know, yeah, definitely appreciate the time, man. I'm gonna let you get out of here, and I normally give a little cash giveaway to the people watching when they put in hashtag JAYMOOREREVIEWS. So I don't know if you want to stay for that or not. I'll let you get out of here if you gotta go. But I'm going to go ahead and, you know, give a little something for everybody's support and coming through. So,
well, all right. Well, I'll just sign off. I'll say thank you, everybody, for watching. It's been a pleasure. If anybody needs anything from me, DM me. Otherwise, I'll see you on the screen.
All right, man. Hey, all right. You were great. Thanks for coming, and you take care, okay?
All right, man.
All right.
Take care of yourself.
No problem. Bye. All right, man, that was, you know, Shane Johnson coming through. Very humble, very down-to-earth, very talented actor. And I appreciate him taking his time out of his busy schedule to come on through and have an interview with me and, you know, answer some questions with everybody. What I'll do is anybody that put in the hashtag JAYMOOREREVIEWS, I'm going to go ahead and do the cash giveaway, $10 Cash App giveaway. So we'll see how many people got it in here right now. As of now, we have only 20 people in here, showing 23. Let's see. I appreciate everybody for coming through, coming on board. Let's see if I can put this up right quick. All right, so as of now, we got 29. It's 157 people watching. Come on, put it in there. I've only had it scrolling across the screen the whole show. So go ahead, put it in, hashtag JAYMOOREREVIEWS. And I'm about to go ahead and do the draw. I'm going to give y'all about one more minute because it's already been plenty of time for everybody to put it through. So time's up. Shout out to Barika. Thank you for, you know, the super chat. Said great interview. A lot of gems in the conversations. It's only up from here. Definitely. And I appreciate, you know, your support and coming through. Brillo as well. And, you know, everybody that came through with the super chat. Definitely appreciate you. And as well as Ray for coming through. And so let's get ready to do this cash giveaway. Not only am I dropping gems, I'm dropping dollars for y'all, man, for the support, appreciation, everybody, much love, respect. All right, we up to 42. Come on, let's get up to 50 right quick, and then I'm gonna do it. 8 more people. It's still 140 people watching live. And yeah, I done already drank a couple bottles right quick. Savannah called my bottled water gin. That gin make you sin, baby. All right. I guess it ain't gonna be 50. We got 45. 5 more. We got 5 more coming or no? We need FOMO. FOMO. We like at the gym. Come on, give me FOMO. FOMO. We got FOMO coming. All right. I guess all y'all ballers out there got enough money, man. Like we said, you can't worry about that money. You got to go ahead, just have fun, enjoy life, man. That was one of the jewels that was dropped today. Just go for it. All right. I'm about to hit it. Danielle Barnett. That's a new name I haven't seen before. Danielle, are you here? Danielle, type here if you are still here. That is one of the things, you do need to be present. All right, Miss Danielle is here. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for still participating and coming through, and I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Danielle, hit me up on Instagram at JAYMOOREREVIEWS. DM me, and I will hook you up with your prize for being a cool person sitting through the show. And you know, everybody, I appreciate all of y'all's support, everybody for coming through, and I hope everybody enjoyed the interview. You know, of course we talked about power, but a lot of other things that, you know, may actually be informative and helpful for you in life, and you know, hopefully a little entertaining, a little jokey joke every now and then. But you know, it was a lot of real talk, and I hope everybody enjoy it. Everybody have a good weekend. I got to get me a little rest today because, of course, I am going to be going live at, well, I guess it'll be tomorrow morning at about 1:30, 2 a.m. to talk about episode 2 of Force. That's when I do my first reactions for the TV shows. So come on through. If you're watching at midnight, I will be talking about it. It's a lot of people starting to talk about it at night, but you know, everybody, you come on through. I've been talking about it for a while, and I definitely enjoy talking about it. So come on through if you up and you want to talk about the episode. I'm looking forward to it. Tommy on that grown and sexy, and he also messy. So I think that's a good combination for a show. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it go. And who knows, I might be making that call. You know what I'm saying? And making the call. All right, everybody. Let me give a shout out to Gina and Sheena and Barika, my mods. I appreciate y'all help and support. Shout out to everybody on my, you know, channel membership that's in the Discord. Y'all have been dope. We've been having a good time in Discord, as always, watching movies, TV shows, chatting, and we've been doing trivia lately, which has been fun as well. So definitely come on through, join the Discord. You can talk to me about power, movies, TV shows, life. We just talk about all kind of stuff. So definitely have a great time. Phil, you are not lying. I do need to order me some Jumex. I think I might go ahead and get that replenishment. Give me 2 Jumex, man. I can't get them while I'm locked up. I got to get it to you, man. So definitely. All right, Gina, thank you for all your help and support. And yeah, everybody take y'all naps. You know, get ready. My Remy, what's up, Remy Ma? That's Remy Ma in the building. What's good? Definitely love talking with you in Discord as well. I just put the link in the description, well, into the channel chat for the video, but the link is in the description as well to join up. So go ahead, hit it up, hit me up. Make sure you're a Tommy Egan level or higher in order to be a part of the Discord. And I'll see y'all then. Everybody take care, and I'm out of here. Peace. Deuces. Be safe, and I'll see y'all tonight.
It's J Moore, the very best reviews. Tell them none can contest, we gon'